Hi everybody, Desi here. So, I'm kind of doing a follow-up to my video, Miami Cannibal Not on Bath Salts, because I made that video like literally minutes right after I read the story. So I really didn't delve into, everything that I thought might be going on. It was more of an emotional filled video because a lot of people said some really nasty things to me. And by the way, I still told you so. I still fucking told you so. But with that being out of the way, let's get on to like some other really fishy things going on with this Rudy Eugene story. I believe it was June 19th, the preliminary autopsy report was released on Rudy Eugene. And in that autopsy report, there were two facts that were all over the news. One being no undigested or digested human flesh was in his stomach, which pretty much goes along with what the witness stated. He never said, if you actually listen to his statement, that he was eating and swallowing any of Mr. Popo's organs or body parts. He did actually specifically state that he was biting and tearing and throwing it away like a dog. So that stands true with the witness's account of what happened. Um, but they also stated that there was undigested pills in Rudy Eugene's stomach. Now, in the toxicology report, though, there was nothing but weed. So that to me seems a little sketchy. Now, granted, undigested pills typically or may not be in the bloodstream, but wouldn't we want to just see what those pills were? Since they were, apparent in his actual body, we would typically, but we wouldn't if it's some high profile fucking drug that is legal that every doctor is writing a prescription for and some major pharmaceutical company will go down. Keep in mind, folks, Prozac and Chantix are 2 times more likely to give you a violent episode than meth. And that's shit that you can go to your doctor and get. One of them is to quit smoking. I'd much rather keep smoking than turn into a cannibal or a violent crazy person. And there has been some crazy shit associated with Chantix. But that's neither here nor there. So I think it's funny that we don't know what those drugs were in his stomach. They were something. If it was Advil, tell us it was fucking Advil. But I find it funny that we're not even discussing what those were. Even if they were undigested. We should still know that at this point with the nature of this crime and all the speculation behind it. Now, I also wanted to delve into some of the other weird occurrences that transpired leading up to the Rudy Eugene Ronald Popo event. I want to say April 17th, a man was hit by a taxi and was naked in the streets. And even after being hit by the taxi, continued to attack the passengers of the taxi. The taxi driver got out of the vehicle, got him away from his passengers, was on the phone with a police officer. In the police video, you can hear him clearly stating, not the police video, but the 911 recording, clearly stating he's biting at me, he's trying to bite my face, he's trying to bite my neck. When the officers arrived on the scene to that event, they did taser him 4 or 5 times, and he actually died on the way to the hospital. Was a big deal in Miami because the family sued Miami PD, because their family member died, and there was no drugs in his system. He had no weapon on him. He was obviously having a psychotic episode, and they felt that the police took unnecessary force. The police argue that he was so out of control and had this superhuman strength. They again used superhuman strength in that episode, just like they did in the Rudy Eugene episode. But they say he died of excited delirium. So that brings us back to excited delirium. And there was no drugs in his system either. So, But a week later or so in Hollywood, Florida, some mysterious chemicals washed ashore that were boiling and bubbling. And they were just destroyed. They Didn't even test to see what they were, they just destroyed them. Like a day or two later, about 4 or 5 miles from where the barrel washed ashore, 12 students and 2 teachers at a local middle school had to be quarantined and evacuated because they were breaking out into mysterious rashes that have still yet to be identified. Hazmat crews had to show up too. They still have no idea what caused that. Um, about a week or so after that, chemicals were released at Fort Lauderdale Airport. 5 people had to be hospitalized and quarantined. Hazmat again had to arrive. What did they do, folks? You would think at this point, if you had 2 different sets of chemical releases in about a week and a half span, the second incident, you would at least test them, right? To figure out what's happening. No! Way to go, government. We blew up all the evidence because that's what they do when they get rid of chemicals. They blow the shit up. So in neither case, where people had to be hospitalized, do we know what these chemicals were. And this all happened prior to Rudy Eugene. And then about a week or so after that, the Ultra event happened, which I spoke about in my first video, Zombie Apocalypse Part 1, where a doctor spoke about 4 separate incidences of people having also what he called excited delirium, superhuman strength, crazy episode. Those people did admit to being on drugs. If you do research on excited delirium, it can sometimes be caused by drugs, but it's not always. So that's the scary part about it. Is in both the cases of Rudy Eugene and the man on April 17th, neither one of them were on drugs, and they both experienced excited delirium. Now, there's been multiple other cases of this across the country. There's actually, I think, 2 other major news stories. I believe one is in Nebraska, where a young man also died of excited delirium. Only thing in his system was alcohol. He also went into cardiac arrest, and there's just many, many stories like this. I'm to the point now where I'm trying to figure out where they're going to go next with this story because they can't possibly blame weed. They've been saying crazy things like if it was the right strand of weed and the fact that at one point sometimes someone diagnosed Mr. Eugene schizophrenic, that if the 2 combined, bullshit. I don't care if you're smoking weed and you're schizophrenic. If you get shot 6 times, you're going to stop what you're doing. You're not going to continue to maul somebody's face. You're not going to be impervious to pain. You're not going to turn into a fucking superhero straight out of the show Heroes. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Sorry. Good luck to them trying to make that one fly because it's not going to work. So what's going on? Do you think it's possible that it's chemical warfare? Do you think it's possible that it is kind of the theory I'm really basing off of, a new chemical imbalance or mental instability that affects different people differently, that we just need to, as a society, take more seriously? Um, you, if you type in excited delirium, you can get into YouTube, you'll see many videos of just what happens to people who are experiencing this. If you type in bath salts, naked fighting police into YouTube, you'll find many just like witness accounts of people taping naked people in the street doing crazy shit. And that's all over the internet. If you want to follow me on Facebook, I'll put my link down here, and I post different videos of that nature every day, so you don't really have to go searching for them. That's fine as well. But I'm really interested, like, what do you think they're going to try to spend next? Because they can't use drugs. They can't simply say the motherfucker was crazy. That's just not going to fly because crazy doesn't equal superhuman. I'm sorry. That doesn't happen. And why didn't they test these chemicals? Why did those go unnoticed? Why did those just completely scoot right underneath the radar? That doesn't make any sense either. Lots of holes here. Why don't we know about the drugs that were found in his stomach during the autopsy? Big gaping hole there. I mean, seriously. There's a lot of holes in all of these stories and all of these very strange occurrences that are happening in South Florida in a very short time frame. So, give me your thoughts. And if you say voodoo curse, I'm going to smack you. Seriously. Stop watching Charmed and Buffy and Angel. It's not a fucking voodoo curse, okay? But it's something. There's something going on here, and we just don't know what it is. And I think it's the not knowing that's the scariest part. So maybe we could all put our heads together and maybe come up with a theory that might actually make sense. Uh, Give me your comments, leave me questions, send me any other news stories across the country that sound similar to what's been going on, the things that I've been reporting. And let's all keep in touch, keep an open forum here, and see what's going on. Good night, everybody. Bye.